What's up, Scoops? P.S. If Friday is the last day on Earth, that means that we'll never see the next episode of Merlin. Horrible. My name is Chengu and this is My Life After Breakfast. Today we'll be talking about Merlin Season 5, Episode 11, the third to last episode of Merlin ever. Sad face. As always with my Merlin reviews, if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want anything spoiled for you, peace out, go watch it and come back. However, if you have seen the episode or if you don't care if anything's spoiled for you, then let's go. Quick bullet points of things I absolutely love this episode. Alexander Vlahos, who plays Mordred, was amazing. Literally, completely, absolutely brilliant in this episode. I loved him every single moment he was on screen. And Alexander Vlahos did a great job conveying how Mordred loved Kara. That is the catalyst for this entire episode. It is why everything in this episode happened. If we didn't believe that Mordred loved Kara, then the whole rest of this would not be believable. But he was so in love with Kara that it's almost like his heart was beating so fast that he had a hard time breathing, because he was always just a little bit breathless when she was around. It was beautiful to watch. But so heart-wrenching with how bloodthirsty Kara was. Okay, another character who I absolutely loved. I loved who that character was, but I hated the fact that she was there. I sort of loved to hate her, basically. She sort of reminded me of those protesters of the Vietnam War in the 60s, how they were burning bras and facing down soldiers with guns pointed in their faces. No fear for their own safety because it's a bigger thing that they support. I totally got that with Kara, and she loved Mordred, but I felt like nowhere near as much as Mordred loved her. Now, actually into the meat and potatoes of the actual episode. First point, as I told you guys, I've watched the episodes 3 times before I bring them to you. First time I loved it. Second time, I was so angry, and the reason why I was so angry was because it is obvious through this episode that Mordred was for Arthur and Merlin the whole time. In the first confrontation between Merlin and Mordred this episode, Mordred showed such a need for Merlin to be his mentor, to be the person he can look up to, when Merlin keeps thinking that he's a bad guy. And he's like, I'm not a bad guy, why do you keep thinking that? You know what I mean? It's not verbatim, obviously. So I thought, had all these people not said, don't trust the Druid boy, it was entirely possible that Merlin might have become that mentor that Mordred was looking for. And therefore he would have had ties strong enough to that Camelot community to not leave with Kara. But then I watched it a third time, and that time I finally heard that line from Gaius that basically sums up this entire episode, which is, there are some parts woven so deeply into the fabric of the world, Merlin, that nothing can be done to change them. He's literally saying there was nothing you could have done, nothing any of us could have done to change the course of this. Merlin going to Arthur to say that Mordred is breaking out and have them brought back and having her killed sped up the timeline, because guaranteed Kara would have led Mordred straight to Morgana, and eventually, to please Kara because he loved her that much, I completely and absolutely believe that, he would have eventually told Morgana who Emrys is, to please Kara. Even if Merlin had accepted Mordred and treated him as, his new little brother, just as all the knights did, and he really was the mentor that Mordred wanted him to be in his life, I still think he eventually would have ended up going to Morgana. It was unavoidable. I can't really fault Mordred for making his decision. Am I happy that it ended up that way? Of course not. But I do not hold him at fault. It's almost exactly like Morgana. I understand her need to be angry with Arthur and angry with Camelot for making her feel like something inside of her is wrong and evil and bad. But I do not approve of her methods to do that. I understand Mordred's anger, and I understand the fact that he lost the love of his life, but that is no reason to go running to the other side and then start attacking and killing thousands of people. The pairings that I loved. I absolutely loved both scenes of Arthur with Kara. Those scenes in the council chambers, they were both absolutely brilliant. Arthur and Merlin scenes where Merlin tried to convince Arthur that what he was doing was not 100% the right way, even though Arthur continuously shoots down Merlin and then just does what he says anyway, so I don't understand why he feels the need to be so rude to Merlin all the time. That's just a personal thing. Second confrontation between the two, I loved Mordred's rage. I love the way Merlin at first went with the emotion and shoved him away, and the next second pulled up to that Emrys, just same way he did in the first conversation where he tried to keep his emotions out of it, and put his hand out and was just almost regal in the way that he was regarding Mordred. I absolutely loved that. Another parallel from that third fight is that at the end of it, when Mordred believes there's nothing else to say, he turns away to walk away, but he still kind of stops and looks back at him like, is there anything else you want to say? There's nothing really to say, and then he just walks away. And in the very next scene, with Merlin talking to his mentor, Gaius, he does the exact same thing. The next part that I absolutely loved was watching Mordred while he felt Kara's death. Absolutely beautiful, and it immediately made me flash back to when Mordred showed up season 1, his first, the first Mordred episode, and he felt his father die. That explosion of power, that explosion of energy. One, it was absolutely heartbreaking and absolutely beautiful. Also very, very worrying. And I know him stepping over to Morgana's side, that he's nowhere near as powerful as Morgana, and Morgana's not as powerful as Merlin, but that does not mean that the two of them together can't come up with a strategy that would blow Merlin out of the water. As evidence to his primal scream in the next episode of Merlin. So what did you guys think of the episode? Did you love it / hate it / get really, really angry / get really, really happy like I did? Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe if you want to see more. So please make sure you check out my previous video as well as my Hipster Chicken video of the week. I absolutely love you guys. My scoops are beautiful. Make sure you're including your comments down below so I can respond to them in one of my comments videos. Love you. Bye.